Hello and welcome to the Futro Hidden Movie Gems podcast. I am your host, Ty Christensen. I may have overcorrected.
Oh, that was mine.
Of course it was, dude. That's the fetching light of the movie. Oh, I have another one too, but I'll save it for quotes. I know you guys have it. And we've got Jordan Christensen.
I'm nobody.
And we've got Cameron Mickle.
Give me the gosh dang kitty cat bracelet.
Yes, I'm so glad that was my other quote. And we've got Grant Mickle on the pod.
I am also nobody.
Thief, plagiarism.
We're a bunch of nobodies here on the pod.
We're just a bunch of nobodies. Guys, we're discussing...
No, you should have said, you missed the trash.
You missed the trash again. We're discussing Nobody. That's the title of the movie, Nobody. Came out in 2021. It's still in theaters. Go see it. It was directed by, oh boy, Ilya. I should have looked up his pronunciation. Naishuller. I hope I'm saying that right. Love you, Ilya.
Yeah, dude, he makes great.
He did Hardcore Henry, which is crazy that I thought about it because that is a great action film.
Or even the music video he made on YouTube, Bad Mother Effer. That's a great video.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
He does such good practical effects.
Yes, a great blend of using special effects with practical. Very good. It almost reminded me of those Hawaiian brothers. What were their names? The one that do the Harry Potter versus Star Wars. What were those guys?
Oh, yeah.
I
think they're Australian.
Oh, those videos are
dope.
dope.
Maybe it's Australian. Yeah, what were those guys called? Look it up. Star Wars versus Harry Potter or something like that. It's ridiculous. Great video. A blend of practical versus... special effects. Written by Derek Kolstad. It stars Bob Odenkirk, of course. Bob Odenkirk from Better Call Saul, from Breaking Bad.
Ty, they're called Raka Raka. That's their channel.
Raka Raka, thank you. That's the blend, the video. Bob Odenkirk, Alekesi Serebrayakov. He's Julian, man. Don't you know this guy? Connie Nielsen, and Christopher Lloyd, Michael Ironside, Colin Salmon, RZA.
Is Christopher Lloyd, is that the guy from Back to the Future?
Yeah, dude, it's freaking Doc, man.
I just call him Doc. I forget his name.
Doc.
My favorite Martian.
RZA, I hope I'm saying that right. RZA. I'm so out of touch with culture. RZA, am I saying that right? RZA. Billy McClellan, Araya Mengesha, Gage Monroe, Paisley Calderrath, and a few others. So
I've never seen a Black Russian. Yeah, I get that a lot.
Okay, so we're going to talk about this movie. What was it like watching this movie for the first time? I think all of us just saw it, so let's just talk about what it was like seeing it. This movie blew my mind. This movie's great. Holy crap. It's worth the hype. It's great. Go see it. It harkens back to like old 80s action flicks. Less is more, folks. Less is more. Loved it. How about you, Jordan? What was it like watching this movie for the first time?
So actually, I've seen it twice. I got to see it with...
What?
Yeah, I got to see it with Dad, and then I was hoping he'd be on the pod, but I don't know. He was not responding to any of my texts. So, but after...
Where were you, Dad? My entire childhood.
And so after I saw it with him, he's like, the very next day, he's like, check movie times. We need to see this movie again. Like, he just freaking loved it. It's so good.
As soon as I got done watching it, I was like, I'll just stay for the next showing. I'll just sit right here in my seat, dude. They can sweep the popcorn right under me. I don't care. I would stay and watch it back to back. This is one of those few movies that I totally would.
Freaking good time. I actually enjoyed it better the second time. I didn't think it was possible. I was actually afraid. Watching again with Cameron and Grant, I'm like, oh no, I'm not going to like this. And then I watched it and I was like, oh my gosh, I like it even more.
I can't wait to buy this movie. I'm going to shell up the money and buy this movie outright and own it and push it.
You mean you're going to wait till I buy it and then you're going to be like, oh, I'll get to it eventually.
We'll go halvesies, man. We'll go halvesies.
I just like you said that about Tenet, and you said that about John Wick 3, and I bought both those.
Yep. I still owe you for those. Yep. Oh, speaking of Tenet, so this is the second movie I've seen in the theater since Tenet. So I've only seen two movies.
What was the other one?
Pandemic. Tenet and this movie.
Oh, these included. I thought you meant additionally.
Yeah, no. This is the second movie I've seen.
Second. Okay, sorry.
Yeah. It's only the second movie post-pandemic that I've seen. It was worth it, guys. I'd get COVID 8 times over just to see this movie again. Sorry, that's misinformation. Don't go out and get COVID because, if you're listening to this podcast for life advice.
Well, they still have the dumb
we
rule
might have
type
harmed
where you
you.
have to do like every third seat. And so Cameron just...
Is that what they do?
Yeah, so it was all full except the front row.
I'm gonna get canceled.
No.
And so we bought tickets in the front row, but then Cameron had to sit in the handicap spot.
Don't worry, I played the part for the showing.
Karen's sitting there acting like a... That's terrible. I can't believe I just said that word, Cameron. Hanging around you, you're a bad influence on me. Oh my
Just
gosh.
blame it on me.
Yeah, it's all your fault, man. I can just see you sitting there like pretending to be handicapped. You terrible person. You're going to hell for sure. Okay, Grant, what was it like watching this movie for the first time?
Oh, I thoroughly enjoyed this movie.
Thoroughly?
Yes, thoroughly. It was
I
like
thoroughly throughout.
no, it honestly was
Through
one
and
of
through.
it's one of the best action films I've ever seen. Just like with as in like enjoyableness. Like I could rewatch it easily like right now. It's just like so good
Amen.
and the story's
Watch it
really
right
good and yeah, it's just amazing.
Awesome. How about you, Cameron?
Yeah, I
Handicap?
also thoroughly enjoyed the movie from my handicap seat. Holy cow, this movie was...
Well, except that we had to, every time the subtitles popped up,
Yeah.
we kept having to lean up because that row is like the row right in front of us.
Yeah,
You can't read
I
the
gained a
bottom.
greater appreciation for handicapped people, man. Especially being in a wheelchair, you wouldn't have been able to see shiz of the subtitles. So
That's so mean. We discriminate against people. That's terrible.
they're not. They're in a wheelchair.
Their legs are... I don't know. Some part of them is...
No,
do I
but yeah,
care?
just watching it. Holy cow, it was like so enjoyable. Jordan and Grant and you have said. I was telling Jordan today, I'm like, I want to go watch it again. It's funny because I was on my top 100 list. I told Jordan, I'm like, yeah, it's definitely made my top 100, but there's no way it's like lower than 80. And then as I'm rating it, and then I ended up putting it at 70. I was like, dang, this is freaking amazing.
It's amazing, dude. I can't wait to see this again. Yeah. Wow, guys. Let's get into the plot synopsis real quick. So it is a bystander who intervenes to help a woman being harassed by a group of men becomes the target of a vengeful drug lord. Which is interesting because you're leaving out the whole beginning and who this guy is. This movie, yeah, the plot synopsis doesn't tell you anything. So let's get into two of our favorite things about this movie. Let's have Grant. Why don't you start us off?
Steal all my stuff.
Wow.
Yeah, we'll go with Grant Cameron
Okay,
first.
so I loved the quick cut. Like, well, I'll let Cameron get more into that. I really enjoyed just like they made me really believe that he was like a total dweeb. That like he was kind of just this useless dad that couldn't protect his family and it was just funny because like I watched it and I like when he froze up when those two burglars broke into their home. I was like, it didn't look like he froze with fear. I was like, it kind of looked like a conscious decision to like not fight. And I was like, why did he do that? And that's just so cool, like how they tie that into like, he was holding back because he didn't want to get back into the old life that he had worked so hard to leave behind.
Also, he noticed what gun it was and that it was
It was
empty.
empty,
The
yeah.
gun was fetching empty. He saw it.
Yeah.
And to your credit, Grant, I remember thinking like, they're taking some weird choices with this movie, and I was like, I wonder if it's going to be touching on some different social themes. And I'm like, oh no, he's just an undercover bad. So good. So good.
Yeah.
Love it.
So I love that. Just being really convinced that like they did a good job portraying him well, and then just like explaining everything as it went on, and I love too like how they explained it through monologues that like made him funny because like the people he would be monologuing to, they just end up dying.
Yes. He would like explain who he was, and then he'd look over them, and they'd be just dead. They bled out.
Yeah. So, and I loved just the humor throughout the movie was very good. Just very like some subtle things, but just like a super funny movie. But the action also was really, really awesome. So those are my two favorite things.
I love it. How about you, Cameron? Two of your favorite things.
Man, one of my favorite things about this movie is just like how it keeps me on my toes. Like that's one thing that, especially with action flicks, it's really easy sometimes to predict kind of what's happening, especially like plot line wise. Like sometimes you might not be able to predict scenes, but like plot line, you're kind of like, okay, I think I know what's happening. But I think they did this. It's just an airtight like plot. I just really like how in the beginning they didn't waste a lot of time like kind of building it up. That's what kind of bothers me sometimes. I feel like people spend too much time like
Why are Bob Odenkirk and his wife fighting?
Yeah, exactly.
It's like, I don't care.
Yeah, it's like, does that matter when he's freaking like beating in people's faces? I'm like, no, I don't care about that. So that's the thing.
But to its credit, it still
put
holds
enough
dramatic weight,
Yeah, so
emotional weight.
That's one thing that is really well done.
that
in
doesn't
this.
waste time. Yeah,
That's kind of, it reminds me of Edgar Wright with like the quick cuts, and it's a very good job of like explaining a lot, like doing a little. And so that's
In a short amount of time, yeah.
it shows you like so much of his life, and you just see how his life is
quick
very
cut montage of
monotonous.
every single day being
and
the same thing.
Every
Quick cut,
day
quick cut,
he
quick
misses
cut.
or every Tuesday freaking misses or Wednesday misses the freaking trash man, and he's always like,
Every day, dude.
and then his wife every time is like, you missed
Guys,
the trash.
I've missed the trash many times. It happens, dude. The trash men, they like look out. They cut the route. They have homing beacons. They know when the fewest amount of trash bins are on the street, and that's when they come by your street. You know, they do know that. I'm a conspiracy theorist about that. All the trash bin collectors, they're the worst.
Yeah, just so definitely like the quick cuts and just explaining with the plot is just airtight. And then I think my second favorite thing, which it might steal Jordan's, is I just love I don't know, it just felt a lot more real than sometimes John Wick, because that's the only thing with John Wick. I feel like sometimes I'm like, okay, I'm not sure like you're dodging that, or like you're just getting out of that fight without like a single battle, like a single wound, or I feel like he gets shot or like hurt at convenient times for the plot. And that's what I was so amazed by the show. Like the first punch to the back of the head really caught me off guard, as I was like, wait, what? I thought he was
That
gonna like,
wasn't in the trailer.
Yeah.
They make it seem like he's John Wick.
Yeah. And then he just gets hit in the back of the head, and you're like, oh, he's gonna get his kicked.
Yeah.
Like, you're like worried about him, right?
Because that's the thing
The
that
stakes are
that
real.
catches you off guard, is just like how you realize that he's like a real person fighting. Like doesn't matter even if he's like CIA, he doesn't have eyes in the back of his head. Like just because he's the auditor doesn't mean he has like
The very first
spidey
punch, he
senses.
actually gets punched straight on, Cameron. That was the third hit. He gets punched twice by the two guys, and then one guy swings, misses, then comes back around and hits him in the back of the head.
Yeah, it's just he just took a
But
beating.
yeah, he takes a beating. Yeah, you're like, well, don't get disoriented and get out of the fight before you're even in it. But then again, it's like now he's justified to kill all of them.
And that's the thing too that I really love is like when he gets thrown out the bus window, it's like I was gonna expect him to like grab on the top of the bus and like kick somebody through it, but he's just like, he's really wounded, like he wouldn't be able to do that, so he just walks around, opens the bus and just starts beating the freaking crap out.
So good. Holy shiz.
Yeah, dude, so freaking
good.
amazing.
Jordan, how about you, man? Two of your favorite things.
For anybody that's lived with me knows that I like to rewatch scenes from movies, not necessarily the whole entire film. And so this is one of those movies that has scenes that, and the scene that I'll go back and just keep rewatching over and over again for this movie is definitely going to be the bus scene. It is easily my favorite scene in the whole movie. Like, you have no idea how I was as excited as he was sitting in the bus, you know, praying. He's like, oh, please let this lady open up the bus doors so I can kick the crap out of these guys. Like,
Dude, the music placement was really funny in this movie too.
You know, there's some great. Oh yeah, the Louis Armstrong, the Sea Trees of Green, or whatever that song's called. What a Wonderful World, right? Where he burns the whole mob. I love that scene. I thought that was so beautiful when he goes into the Russian mob's place and just storms it out. Like, because I had to go to the bathroom so bad in this movie, and I was like, I don't want to miss anything. So I actually left at the moment where he ends up talking to the Russian boss. I thought that was a perfect scene to leave. I left for 2 minutes. And it's just the scene where he talks to him and threatens him to get out of the game and retire. So I missed that little exchange. But as soon as I come back, I'm like, there's just no time to get out of this movie. It's a tight 90 minutes. There's nothing else I can cut out of it. That's my favorite thing. This movie, like you said, Jordan, there's scenes, and there's definitely favorite movie scenes, but this movie is a tight 90 minutes. Holy cow.
was I watching a movie with you? I was watching a movie with somebody, and they were like, oh, crap, I got to go to the bathroom so bad. Because you just like, there's no time to go.
There's no time in this movie. I mean, if you're watching Justice League, you're like, I could leave 4 times and you haven't missed anything. You're still walking across the floor to the mother box. But,
in
with
slow
this one, it's
motion,
like-
so you come back and they're still
in
going.
slow motion. And this one, it's like, holy shnikes, like, whoo! It's like, does not stop, does not let up. That's the thing. This movie does not let up.
My second thing,
I
was
cut you off,
humor.
yeah.
That's all I wanted to say. Yeah,
The humor, dude. Yeah, the
lands
jokes
so
land.
well.
I would say I had a wonderful audience. No one talked or anything, but hearing some people, they were like, I had one of my favorite ones is when they got on the bus. There was a lady in the audience that went. She had a deep voice, and she's like, "Uh-oh." It was so good. It was so good. It's like that was the only comment I heard out of the whole movie. But just like she's like worried for the people getting on. It was so.
No, you know what we heard in our
Great
theater,
movie
Ty,
experience.
is we heard a guy snoring super loud, like at the very end.
Oh, are you serious?
You didn't hear it?
Snoring?
Oh, I
and
heard him.
Nobody? Snoring and nobody? What?
Yeah.
That's crazy. And then he wakes up. What a snooze fest. After leaving Ad Astra is something that really happened when Jordan went and saw Ad Astra. That lady must have been dead inside. That's all I can say. I love this. So Jordan, I didn't want to cut you out. You said the humor and the bus sequence. That's so funny you say that because again, all the action sequences like hold up. I almost don't have a favorite. They all play so much to his character. So one thing I will say, I loved that they made him, what was it? He wasn't the accountant. What was it? It was the
Auditor.
The auditor. Perfect title for somebody. And my favorite thing, like you said, Jordan, was every time someone learned something about him, they're like, I quit, I'm done. It's like the lady that researches him, blackmails the guy that works at the CIA or whatever. She gets the file on him and then she's like, I quit, I'm done, bye. It's like, oh my gosh. Like, she's like, this is the guy that you hire to be the last guy on your doorstep. And he's the guy that holds the acronym establishments in place, the FBI, CIA. Like, he's like, this is the last guy you want calling on your door. It was so cool. The auditor, like, such a cool Jason Bourne-esque kind of thing where it's like, I clean up messes, I make sure that nobody leaves alive. And yeah, he's living this boring life. See, the very first
Except
part
for
of it,
that
I
one
only
guy
saw the
that he was
teaser.
jealous of his life. I'm not a jealous guy.
I'm not a jealous guy.
But man, I wanted what he had.
Just some guy living in Idaho. So I love the. So my favorite thing is one. Bob Odenkirk is an action star. I didn't actually think I was worried about him pulling it off, but after like the first,
I wasn't
5
worried
minutes,
about his humor landing though. He is really funny.
He is funny.
He is funny.
I wasn't worried about humor, but I was worried about the action. I was worried about too many quick cuts. Holy crap, did my fears get assuaged. They styled this so well. Like, Bob Odenkirk, believable. Like, the way the punches landed, I felt it. I actually felt the pain, man. And then my second favorite thing was just, again, the things that weren't, like, the world building. I'm like, you could easily make a sequel from this if you needed to. And,
Well, I thought they were going to connect this to John Wick because the scene where he meets with the guy at the barbershop, I thought for sure he was going to connect the worlds.
oh my gosh, that would be so great. But you realize that they're not the same director. I don't think, I mean, it would be so
No,
cool
same
if they did
producer
that,
though,
but-
Ty. Same producer.
True. I don't know if they would have the rights, though. I have no idea. Because, again, John Wick is already doing its own thing. But, yes, I could totally see a crossover because there's a lot of homages to John Wick.
Or
while
I just
still
wish
being its own
he was on
thing.
the bus and just like in Keanu Reeves was just sitting in the back and then it was just like that would have been so awesome.
He just gets off. This is my stop.
This is my stop.
Or no, he's like, you getting off? He's like,
or when he went to the
"Yeah."
tattoo parlor, when he went to the tattoo parlor, it would have been pretty cool if like there was like one of the assassins there because you know the tattoo shop. They could have been like, oh, someone has a contract out for some person or something. That would be interesting if they. But anyway, this movie stands on its own. Like you don't need to see like other action films to see this movie. Like you don't need to know anything about it. I saw one teaser. And I love this movie. And they did such a good job at establishing Bob Odenkirk's character, you know, the auditor. What's his name? Hutch, right? They did such a good job at establishing Hutch as like you said, a nobody. But like they did a good job at, as soon as he started entering into this world, people that knew anything about him, like the guy at the vet that saw his tattoos on his wrist, he's like, oh, and he like leaves the room, locks the door,
Like 9
deadbolts
times.
it. Yeah. He closes the little view window. So funny, and all the other guys are like, "What the fudge? Like, just happened." So that was great. And then the other lady I mentioned that works for Ilya, that like does the research into him, and then she's like, "I quit. I'm out." Like, she's like, "I don't want to work for the mafia anymore. I'm not working for you because I'm more afraid of the guy I just researched." I loved that. That was such a great way of establishing just like how to and. My favorite, last one at the very end when he's in an interview, he's in a holding cell with the 2 policemen, and they both get a phone call at the same time, and they both answer, and their smiles just like instantly fade at the same time, and they're like, "Oh." Like, you can just imagine what that phone call sounded like. Like, get this guy out of there. Do not question him. Do not arrest him. Don't say another word to him. Let him go. It's like, what?
Or
Like,
he will
it's
kill
so
you and your
good.
family in worse ways you
and
can
your family,
imagine.
yeah. Right. I just love that. And again, it was such a great ending to the movie where his wife at the very end comes to an understand. Okay, I'm stealing everything, but I just love this movie at the very end when he's like, does this house have a, and then the wife cuts in and it's like, a basement? It's so freaking good. Like, what a perfect ending to this movie where he's now...
You stayed tight up till the little sequence after credits, right?
Yes, of course I stayed. I was going to listen to the whole score of the movie, and then that's my third favorite thing is this ensemble. Christopher Lloyd back. I haven't seen him since Piranha. Like, it's so good to see him in a movie again. And he was such a bad A father. He was so cool. He was like the guy at the nursing home, which was another amazing scene where killers come to take him out, and he wakes up and blows away with a double barrel.
Not before Ty. He grabs the gun and puts his pinky in the trigger so it stops the trigger. And then he blows him away. And then the second guy, he's like, suffocates.
And then the guy's like writhing, and he like holds him. He's silencing him while the guy comes and he goes, "Hey, turn that record down. I told you to turn down the TV." And then he starts turning it down slowly while he's like strangling this guy. It's like so freaking cool. And I love it. I loved his father, and I love his other brother, dude. Freaking Rizza. I'm going to call him Rizza. He was so freaking cool. Harry's character, the guy on the voice on the radio, you hear him at the very end and he shows up with the freaking sniper at the end.
No, dude, one of my favorite guys
guys
is his brother-in-law. When he punches him in the stomach, he's like, you're okay, breathe. He's like,
yeah, breathe. He's like crying. I love that too when he comes in with all those bars of gold. He's like, yeah, there's your big payout. There's your big sellout or whatever. I love that. What am I supposed to do? I don't give a fudge. You do. What am I supposed to do now that this place is sold? Oh, and that was so great too. The callback of the gun that he puts in the freezer, the guy gives to him at the very end. Yeah. He grabs the freaking toaster strudel box and blows through it. So, guys, if you've seen Home Alone, this movie makes Home Alone look like Sesame Street. I texted Jordan after I saw this movie. I was like, this movie makes John Wick look like Sesame Street. I mean, guys, okay, spoiler alert. On the bus, after he beats the shiz out of all these gangsters and thugs, he performs what do they call that? A trachea. He cuts his throat open and sticks a fetching straw in his throat so he can breathe. It's so fetching gross.
They do that in Lost too. Isn't it Lost that he couldn't breathe?
Well, yeah, but it wasn't after the guy beat him to near death. I mean, he only did it to spare his life. I was like, holy shiz. Oh my gosh. And seen in such gruesome fashion. After I saw that, I was like, oh my gosh, so fetching crazy.
No, what was the knife one, Cameron? He got it in the leg.
Oh my gosh, yeah, when he stabs the guy in the knee and then he kicks the knife through it.
And kicks the knife, like it's already stabbed in, like as far as his hand would throw it, and then he's fighting him, and then he goes up and kicks the guy, like to where the handle goes into his fetching leg. Like, it's so gross. Oh my gosh, gratuitous violence.
When they broke into his house, Ty, and he was running around killing everybody, when he grabs the knife and stabs that guy, I was like, this guy's a serial killer. Like,
oh yeah. Well, see, it was so funny too because I'll be honest, I only saw the teaser about this movie, and they did a good job at not alluding to who he was. And the very beginning of the movie, they don't play like he plays really cool. So I was like, oh, this is like the Breaking Bad. Like this is like a midlife crisis dad that goes to the extreme lengths to finally get revenge. And no. The better part was you want to make it believable. It was a guy that was like retired that's finally coming out of it, which was such a good bait and switch. Because I remember thinking, like, even from the trailer, I'm like, oh, this guy's a nobody. And then he gets tired of being a nobody, so he starts, like, working out. He starts fighting. He starts training.
The trailer
he
makes you think
training.
that.
I was worried this was going to be Death Wish all over again. I thought it was going to be Bruce Willis. And I was like, nah, I don't want to do that. And I was not disappointed. This movie was so fetching good, dude. The auditor retired, freshly out of retirement, with his dad and his brother. So freaking cool, dude. RZA and Christopher Lloyd was so cool.
I loved how he was just willing to let it go, those two robbers. And then his daughter was like, oh, where's my kitty bracelet? Like, it was in this bullet. And, like, that was, like, the moment that he was, like, just tipped him over the edge. And so he just
tipped him over the edge.
And it's funny, too, because you think that, like, he'll get revenge. But then he finds out that they have a kid. And he's like, dang it. So he just leaves. And he's like, I want to get my anger out somehow. So he was like, wanting those guys to get on the bus so he could just kick.
He beats the tar out of the brick wall first.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah,
punching a fetching brick wall in an alleyway. You're like, oh my gosh! Yeah. And then he's on the bus with his bleeding knuckles.
But it was just so funny, just like having him being like thinking he was a dweeb, and then he was like just gonna let it go, and then like his daughter's like, oh, I really wanted that thing, and then that just like, you know, like triggered him. And he's like, okay, I'm gonna go hunt these people down.
See, I don't know
Yeah,
why, but
cross the line.
I was like under the impression the whole time that he was what's it called, like special ops. I don't know, maybe if I just like expected that, but I was not surprised at all. Like I don't know why.
That's awesome, Cameron. Like I said, because I only saw the teaser, and I know with the teaser that kind of
Maybe it's because I just watched the trailer like 400 times before I watched the movie.
Oh yeah, that trailer's so
could be
awesome.
fair. It is awesome. I refuse to watch it anymore because I remember when I saw it once, I was like, I will see the movie, and once I know if I'm going to see a movie or not, I will never watch the trailer again. But after I've seen the movie, I'll probably go back and watch it.
And it
Be like,
depends on how
trailer's got
good
all
the
this
trailer is, because you're gonna see Batman and you watched that like 1,000 times. So.
I've seen it like 5 or 6, but I've stopped watching it because.
Oh really? I've seen it a billion times, like a billion.
I won't watch it anymore because I know I'm going to see it, and I'm going to be let down. There's no way the movie's going to be better than that fetching trailer.
I don't know.
The
Mad
sound of
Max
duct
held
tape
up.
gives me
I watched that
goosebumps,
trailer like
dude.
15,000 times, and that was
The
amazing.
fetching sound of like duct tape ripping
that
gets me every time, dude. So fetching good. Okay, so this movie, guys, watch it. Okay, any nitpicks? I have no nitpicks with this movie. Probably could have shortened it, 15 minutes, cut out 15 minutes.
No.
This movie's like a tight 92 minutes. This movie's an hour and 32 minutes, and it does not let up. So freaking good. Oh, I would say I almost wish there was like 5 more minutes. Although you already had it, Julian, where he like, well, we're not very safe. We don't feel like our money's safe with you. You dance and sing on the stage, and then he goes up and finds the biggest mofo in the freaking club and just grabs a wine glass and just cuts his face open with it and slits his throat. He's like, "You feeling confident now?" It's like, holy shit, it's so freaking cool. Julian was a great villain. He was so cool. I almost wish there was one more scene with Julian, because I love their interaction together where they're at the club. I love that, where he has the claymore and he's
What's it called?
got
I
the pen
thought
in
it was so dope when they were like, "Do you know who that is?" And he like, "Who he was doesn't matter." I was like, "Oh my gosh, this man is insane."
I love it. So yeah, the action set pieces are just incredible. Like, so I was going to ask you guys, what were your favorite scenes? I honestly loved the shootout at the end. I thought it was it was like an homage to Westerns, watching Christopher Lloyd's character and RZA come up like to show up at the end. It was so cool.
Dude, the way he
because,
uses
like,
that
a family
sniper.
fighting. It was, yeah, dude, freaking like the way he like hits the guy with the silencer.
Yeah, and then he held it
Like,
backwards, and then it like launched
recoiled
forward,
to
and the
hit the other
recoil
guy.
knocked the guy in the face. I was like, "Oh my gosh,
dude, okay.
my man's playing
what do they
Call
call
of Duty
those?
on easy."
Are those called I always want to call them rubars. What are they called? Those iron bars, those thick ones that you use to like build
Oh,
cement
dude,
foundations with?
I hated that.
Rhubarb?
Oh, yeah, and they
Is
fetching.
that what it's called? No, rhubarb is like a fruit. What am I talking about? Or it's like a vegetable.
No, I don't
Strawberry
know, but
rhubarb
yeah,
pie.
but when he cuts them in half and then
Rebar. It's called rebar. See, those giant rebar bars. He puts them in like an explosive, and they launch, and they just like cut through the people like giant rebars. Like just like in movies, when they fall from a great height and they land on one. That just looks so painful. They shot like 20 of them from a cannon. Just blows through these people and cuts them like Swiss cheese. It's so gross. There's so many owns. And then one of the coolest things is he has the mouse traps all linked with like gunpowder and bullets. So like he sets it off and there's like a bullet that goes off every like 4 or 5 feet along the wall, the drywall. That's so fetching.
yeah, and they're like
sick. It
shotgun
was so
shells
cool.
too, so it's gotta
Shotgun
hurt.
just boom, just blows through the wall. It was so sick. Oh, this shootout made me want to watch Wind River again, dude. We need to review that one next. That shootout at the end. Oh my gosh. So
Well, and he kind of like Home
Alone.
Alone the place. They just like set
He
up.
did.
Very
but
similar
it
to
was so-
Skyfall, yeah.
Yeah.
One, it was so believable, but it was so great how he did it. He bought the place. He's like, "No, get out!" Like he started right then and there. He's like, "We're gonna have a final showdown here," and it was so great because he needed the help from his father and his brother because there was no way he could have gotten that done without the help of RZA and Christopher Lloyd's characters. So. Freaking loved that. Like them showing up at the end as the Deus Ex Machina. But
I think the
good.
only like sort of nitpick, but it still almost works, is like when he's like crossing his fingers. Like I understand like they're trying to show that he really wants it to work out, but I mean I don't know. I don't think you need him to show like he's crossing his fingers.
Wait, no, Cameron.
I love
What
that.
do you think? Do you think he was crossing his fingers that they would leave it alone?
That's what I was wondering. I think he was
I
crossing his
honestly
fingers
think-
that they wanted them to
Because he
attack him.
smiles. I think he smiles when he drives drives off in the
Yeah.
car one last time. I think he has a slight smile on his face, Cameron. I think he was like, "Come after me, you freaking motherfucker!" Like it's like, "Come on, come on!" Like that's what I got from it.
Oh, I
Because
totally think
he
so.
does say he's like because in the end he goes, "Yeah, you could finally cut out a piece for yourself, some nice retirement or whatever," and he's like. No, dude, he's taunting him. He's like, "Come after me, bro." Like, that's how I got it. And oh, speaking of bro, I love his stupid neighbor with the car and everything. He's like, 0 to 60, and I'm about to find the F out or whatever. Right?
Oh,
I'm about to find.
I wish they would have
the
come to
freak out.
my house, man. I could have used the exercise.
See, I thought they were going to emasculate him the whole movie because they did when they mentioned like, "Oh, why don't you interview Dad? You were a veteran." He goes, "Well, I was really just an auditor, so I wasn't really anything." And he goes, "Oh, why don't you interview your uncle? He was a real veteran." Like the wife insults him. He's like,
Yeah,
"This
he's not a
guy's
real soldier."
Emasculated
Oh my
in front
gosh.
his wife, his coworkers, his neighbor, like, and the cop. He's like, "Oh, you didn't do anything." Like I was like, "Oh," like even the cop's like, "What do you like?"
That was my family.
Yeah, that's my family. I don't know what I would have done. I'm like, oh my gosh, like everyone's just on him. And even I freaked out when the son jumped out and got the other robber. I was like, oh my gosh, this movie's so fetching
Dude,
intense.
his son's a baller.
I know. And then he gets punched in the face and he's like, "Hey, get out of here." I'm like, oh man. Like I felt it boiling inside of him. But now when you hindsight, now you know the movie, I'm like, the restraint he had, dude, you just he's gonna take that golf club and just knock them the freak out. My gosh, so good. Oh, and then of course can't fail to mention at the very end where he has the claymore with like a riot shield, plexiglass, or the bulletproof glass or whatever, shatterproof glass, and he runs up with the claymore on the front of it and just it just
Dude, that was such a
smashes
dope when he freaking
Ilya
riot
with it
shield
with a freaking riot shield with
claymored
the
him.
claymore on the front of it and just boom blows him back. It was so
Yeah, I
freaking
don't.
cool.
I don't. That's like the only thing that was like a little unbelievable. I don't know if you'll be able to like that
But
glass
to
would
me,
be able
it's
to
like
stop.
it's one of those things where I'm like, it was the finale,
It's
right?
the
Like,
Jason
it's
Bourne.
always
It's the
supposed to
Jason
be-
Bourne
yeah.
flying down, shooting
Flying
him,
down
surfing
the
on him.
staircase, exactly. The studio executive's like, "Hey, there's not enough violence in this movie," so they did it, dude. It was so fetching good. Love it. You guys have any other nitpicks or quotes from the movie?
Oh, well, so I just like when the guy, "What are you still doing here, old man?"
Oh my gosh. The end credit sequence is my quote when they're like on the quote. He goes, "Why couldn't we just fly?" And then he goes, "With all that luggage." They show the back of the RV. It's just loaded with guns. Like, oh my gosh, explosive guns. Oh, so freaking cool. Man, this movie got my blood Riley, dude. It's got my testosterone flared up, dude. Ugh, it's crazy, dude.
I love how they continued like the quick cut stuff when the bad guys were like, "Oh, we need to like find out more about this guy," when the girl's like researching about him, and so they like send the blackmail to the guys like, "What the heck is this?" And then he like instantly goes and searches out the guy's name.
Yeah, they just cut to that scene.
yeah,
to that. Like,
yeah.
it
So they
didn't
don't
matter
like
how he
waste any
got there.
time. It's just super funny.
Yeah, yeah. It's like he was blackmailed. He's going down. He got the information, and instantly he like sent it right back. I love it. Like it's just get the movies, the movie going. Like you didn't need the 5-minute sequence. It can be done in quick cuts. People get it.
It's
you know?
super funny. Yeah, I
That's
enjoyed
so
that.
awesome, Grant. I love it. Well, freak. Okay, so we're gonna. Any last minute things you guys wanted to say about this movie?
Freaking go watch it. It's worth the.
Would you recommend this movie? Heck yes.
Absolutely.
Go see
Especially
Nobody.
on
This
$5
movie-
Tuesday. That's an easy money decision.
Yeah, easy money decision, dude. I can't believe theaters are still doing $5 Tuesday. It's like they don't even want to remain open anymore, dude. They're like, just shut us down.
Well, when I went to see Kick-Ass Walking with Cameron and Grant, they didn't even check our tickets. We just walked right in.
Oh, dude, yeah. When I went and saw Tenet, they were like, I was like, "Oh, you need to see my ticket." They're like, "Oh, just come right in, please." I'm like, what the freak is happening? Like, please come on in. I'm like, you didn't even check my tickets. There was nobody there. Everyone was just, they were just thrilled to be back open once more. Freaking Tenet.
Yeah, if you like John Wick, I definitely recommend this. It's very much like John Wick. I know Ty says it's way more violent and gritty, but I
It's
agree.
certainly more
And I
violent,
said that to
yes.
Grant. I'm like, it's got like the violence of Brawl in Cell Block 99 and the action of John Wick. And Grant's like, not a chance.
Grant, you don't know what you're talking about, boy.
Yeah, maybe I'm just
Oh my
too
gosh.
desensitized to violence, and I'm like, I just thoroughly enjoyed
Grant.
it.
This movie made me feel it. The freaking when he has his hands through the bus bars and he snaps
Yes.
his arm
Oh,
neck.
yeah.
It was like this movie had me cringe with the violence, dude. Like it was gruesome.
Oh, yeah.
for
When he stuck
sure.
his
So
straw
it's
in
not
his
for the
throat.
faint of
When he
heart.
stuck his straw in his throat, I looked away.
Yeah, Cameron looked away.
I had to look away too. Well, I winced. I was just like, I can't believe what I'm watching right now. That was what I literally thought. Because again, he makes you feel every punch they land, dude. Jeez. Unlike John Wick, where again, I love John Wick. I'll be the first to tell you, it was like one of my top 20 movies of all time. John Wick 3. I loved this movie, and again, I don't know if it's recency bias. I'm gonna have to see it again, like Jordan said, and see. And it sounds like
You'll
I'll
like
just
it more.
so.
I'm serious, dude.
More movies need to be just like this, dude. 90 minutes. Get to the story. So freaking good. All right, so would you recommend this movie? Hard recommendation from me. It's not for the faint of heart, but watch it. This movie's so great. If you're a man and you have a pair of, you need some testosterone boost. You're going through a midlife crisis. This movie's for you, you Judy. Go watch it.
Yes, absolutely recommend it.
You recommend it, Grant? How about you, Cam?
Oh yeah.
Absolutely. All right. So we end every podcast by sharing movies that we've seen lately. How about you guys hit us up? Grant, what have you been watching lately?
Lots of movies.
Lots of
Let me see.
movies.
Why don't you tell them what we just watched now?
Oh yeah. Oh, I didn't rate that yet. We watched Godzilla versus Kong, and Godzilla's king.
Yeah,
The best.
we made bets. Ty, we made bets at the very beginning. We're like, all right, who's going to come out top? Cameron's like, oh, it's going to be Kong, and Grant's like Godzilla. And then I sided with Grant, sort of. I kind of wanted both, but I...
Spoiler alert, everybody.
Oh, yeah.
So
Sorry,
Godzilla
shoot.
wins.
Spoiler alert, yeah.
Thanks for spoiler for
Well,
me, though,
no.
because I honestly have no desire to see it, to be honest.
Yeah,
I'll be
you're gonna
honest.
miss
It was free on HBO, Ty. That's why we watched it.
Oh, dang it. I didn't realize it was free. Wait, do you still have
Yeah.
HBO? Oh, maybe I'll watch. Well, maybe I'll skip through it. Is it worth watching?
There's two scenes that are
Skip all the
amazing.
human parts. Just watch the
Yeah.
monster, the
Skip all
Titan.
the
Yeah,
human
the end,
parts?
the end fight scene is really good, and then there's one scene where they go to the center of the earth, and he goes through this portal, and it's really dope. And then that whole world is pretty cool looking.
Yeah, there's 3 scenes. Just watch when Godzilla and Kong fight the first time, and then watch when they go to the world, and then also watch the final fight scene when they fight essentially.
Because they waste like 40 minutes with those
electronic
hippies.
Godzilla.
Yeah, sign language and stuff. You're like,
Yeah.
I don't care.
Well, and those the ragtag team of kids trying to stop it all.
Oh my gosh, they somehow made Millie Bobby Brown and Ricky Baker from Hunt for the Wilder People like not
Ricky Baker.
enjoyable, and they made Ricky Baker not funny. I didn't laugh at a single thing he said. I was like, oh, this writing is rough.
Not a good use of... I love how we keep calling him Ricky Baker. Yeah, not a good use of Ricky Baker.
Yeah. Well, I did feel like they didn't utilize him enough too in Deadpool. I was waiting to hear him tell more jokes, but he didn't.
Oh, I didn't realize he was in Deadpool.
He's in Deadpool too.
Deadpool 2, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not surprised. Like, I'll be honest, this movie, like, I honestly don't think I've seen the trailer. I think I might have seen, like, half of an ad for it, but, like, I don't really seek these movies out anymore. I will be honest.
Well, I
really
seeked
did
it out
like
because
Kong
Adam
Skull
Wingard
Island.
Ty directed it. I was like so excited.
Really?
I was freaking out.
But that's the inevitable problem with these movies. It's like I don't know. It's hard because here's the thing. Your climactic moment has to do with monsters, and in the end, your protagonist characters that you're supposed to relate to, you don't understand any of their motivations. They have nothing to do with the beast at hand, right?
Yeah.
That's part of the problem with these monster movies. There's a disconnect. It's like,
No, Ty, they have a connection.
do they? Are they like connected to the
Yeah,
monsters?
she can actually talk to him. She like
sign language to him. It's dumb as
Gosh. Oh, not see. Now I'm already starting to think. See, they tried to do that, right? They try because that's the problem that Godzilla had, right? The first Godzilla movie. Kong Skull Island did a good job because you understood.
Ooh, I hate that movie.
You didn't like Kong Skull
Kong
Island.
Skull
Grant?
Island is better than Godzilla 100
I
times.
liked Godzilla way better.
Now, to be fair, I do like Godzilla movie. I know a lot of people hated it and had problems with it. I enjoyed it. I thought it was great.
It's in
The
my
visuals-
top 10, dude. Right now, at least.
That's so crazy to hear you say that. Definitely not top 10. I would definitely say
It's
Kong
garbage.
Skull Island was way better. And part of the reason, because Samuel L. Jackson actually looked like for a moment he could take down Godzilla, King Kong. Like, it looked like it, dude. The freaking look he's giving the monkey with the fire and the bombs and the visuals.
His whole motivation behind like fighting King Kong it didn't make sense to me. I didn't like it.
Dude, it was
just
Captain
dumb.
Ahab, man. He was there to hunt the beast. I freaking loved it, dude.
He
It
was
a
Ahab,
modern-day
dude. He was
Call Me
insane.
Ishmael. Yeah, it was. Don't call me Ishmael. It's amazing.
Yeah.
Or Call Me Ishmael. I don't know what it's called.
Anyways,
Moby Dick.
so
yeah.
then I watched The Map of Tiny Perfect Things. That is a super, super good Groundhog
That's a
Day
great-
for teenagers. It's really, really, really,
I
good
thought that was the
PG-13.
Gravity Falls, or not Gravity Falls, but the Palm Springs
yeah.
that Cameron told me to watch. It's the same thing, right? It's
Palm
so
Springs
funny.
is better.
Studios do this. Okay, is it better? What do you think, Grant? Is it better than Palm Springs?
Wait, you think Map of Tiny?
No, Palm Springs.
Yeah, Palm Springs is better. Yeah, because this is kind of
Okay, I'll have
this
to
is
see
more
it now.
mellowed down for like teenagers. But yeah, it's pretty good.
For
Well, not
teen-
teenagers, but
for
like it's
babies.
the characters are teenagers. So
For children.
Right,
um,
right. It's the baby
Much too
Groundhog
good
Day.
for children.
then I rewatched Beautiful Mind. It's been a long time since I've seen it, and it was pretty good.
What is your obsession with this movie? You guys keep watching this movie.
No,
Let it
I
die
have
already.
no. Cameron watched it last semester. I hadn't seen it. In a
Oh,
long
really?
time.
Now Grant's like, Russell Crowe's one of my favorite
No.
actors of all time.
I didn't watch it last semester.
Whatever. But I'm still unconvinced. I just need to watch Gladiator apparently. But
Oh, Grant still hates Russell Crowe. He's like, overrated.
way overrated.
Definitely
Then-
should watch Gladiator.
Yeah,
though.
then we
So
watched
fucking
Saving
good.
Private Ryan. Such a good movie. Really,
So
really
good.
enjoyed that
You
one.
hadn't seen it, right?
Yeah, that was the first time I'd ever seen it. So
Hey, Grant, when you watched it, did you think that the old veteran at the end was Tom Hanks or not?
old veteran.
The veteran at the very beginning that was actually Matt Damon's character.
Oh no, I didn't think that was Tom Hanks.
Because they show his blue eyes in the very next scene. You see Tom Hanks, his blue eyes when he's like on the bar.
Yeah,
headed
dude.
to
But talk
D-Day.
about a transformation, dude. Of like that was pretty dope CGI
Guys,
for like the time.
No,
or
no,
whatever.
no, Cameron, that wasn't CGI.
No,
that was
I know,
that
but like
that
when,
was
when
all
they when
practical
they do
for-
the transformation of like showing him go from Matt Damon's face to
Oh,
him, that was a
yeah,
dope
right, yeah.
sequence.
But even then, though, what's impressive is that's all practical. I'm like, why on earth did they do this aging thing where like everyone looks so plastic and fake when you could make Matt Damon look like a genuine World War II veteran? Like, holy shiz! I was like, that's unbelievable. That was Matt Damon under all that. And I'm like, what? Gosh, you couldn't even get another actor to look as
Wait,
convincing
really?
as that.
Holy fudge!
That was Matt Damon, and that was all practical makeup. I was like, holy
That's impressive.
shit. Isn't that amazing? I was like, why don't we do that today? Now we have freaking Joe Pesci that looks like a Barbie doll and freaking Irishman, and you have old Robert De Niro, who's just phoning it in at this point, walking around like a hobbling an old man, and he's like got a young face on himself. I'm like, dude, I'm with you, Jordan. Irishman doesn't hold up, man.
You
It's
have
weird.
Jedi Knight Academy Luke Skywalker walking around Mandalorian.
Which again, they did a pretty good job. When he wasn't speaking, Luke looked
Yeah.
pretty impressive.
No, that's
that
true.
was really impressive.
But-
there was just
so-
a little uncanny valley. But I'm like, for a TV show, that's fetching revolutionary.
The funny thing about Saving Private Ryan was that I missed the first like 20 minutes, so I missed the whole
Oh my gosh,
D-Day
that's right.
scene.
You
And so,
missed the D-Day.
so I came in just as they finished, and then I watched the whole movie, and then I went back and rewatched the first scene, and I was like, oh my gosh, that was gruesome. Like,
Did you guys get the feels in that movie? I get so emotional when that not the sniper. Well, yeah, the sniper going so quickly, but the whole freaking debacle with the where they rush that radio tower and then the one medic gets killed. That freaking scene, dude. That's harsh. Oh, and Vin Diesel. That was the other one. When they sniped him from the tower, that scene gets me. When he's like, "Give me this note to my dad." That I.
and what's
I
funny
can't even
is
talk
like
about it.
I'm normally fine with blood, and like I'm very desensitized to violence already, but like for some reason the D-Day scene, like there was a few times that I was like, I actually like felt sick to my stomach, like.
Oh my gosh.
It's-
yeah, it's.
And I think it carries a lot more weight
Harrowing.
knowing that that's like real, that actually happened, you know.
Oh,
So
absolutely.
that was such
Absolutely
a good movie.
harrowing, and it like genuinely elicits an emotion from you and a reaction for sure. I'd be worried about you, Grant, if that wasn't the case. You're like, I didn't feel anything.
I didn't feel anything.
Jeez.
So
Awesome.
yeah, that's all I've watched.
Great movies. Now put Gladiator on your list, and maybe you'll think differently about Russell Crowe. But now that we've built it up so much, you'll be like, oh, Russell Crowe was the weakest part of Gladiator.
Dude,
I
Joaquin
really
Phoenix
like
is
Joaquin
so
Phoenix's
creepy.
performance. Yeah.
Grant forgot to mention too that we watched an hour of Prometheus, except he didn't watch it. He was on his phone the entire time, and then afterwards he's like, "It was okay," and I'm like, "You didn't watch any of
Hey,
it."
Yeah, dude.
Grant's on the precipice, on the cusp of no longer hanging out with us boys. He's going to be a married man soon.
Yep.
Isn't that right, Grant?
It's true.
Yep, no more.
Professor
no
Love.
more good movies for you.
Professor Love, Grant.
Oh wait, we were at a dinner, Ty, and then what did she say to us?
She was like, we were talking to someone.
No, we said we're gonna go see Nobody tonight.
Yeah, and she's like, "What's it rated?" And he's like,
No, she knew. She's like, but
Oh,
that
she's
movie's
like-
rated R.
Yeah, and then we're like, "Yeah," and she's like, "We don't watch rated R's." I'm like, "Good for you. You're gonna miss out on all the good movies."
But that movie's rated R. Yeah. Yeah.
No, we should have said the F yeah.
Yeah. Take right right, sister. Move it or lose it, sister. Oh my gosh, that is so funny. How about you, Cameron? What movies have you seen lately?
I watched a couple episodes of Trailer Park Boys. Man, that's interesting.
You rated it? That doesn't. You can't watch one episode and rate it.
I can do whatever the freak I want, and that was the dumbest shit I've ever seen in my life.
Jordan, you should show him the
So
best
funny.
episode.
See, Grant loves it.
It's freaking hilarious.
See, Grant says it's freaking hilarious.
Okay, no,
Thank you.
just white trash people just make me really uncomfortable with all of their unorganization and just the way they live makes me very uncomfortable. So I just didn't like
Do you
it.
pity them, Cameron? I felt the same way.
And then I watched The King with Jordan. Holy fudge, dude! Talk about an insane movie.
Thank
Talk
you.
about
Is it good?
I'm doing it on the
I
pod.
do want to see that one.
So-
Yeah, I do
It's-
want to see that one.
depressing as fudge.
Don't spoil it. Don't spoil it. Don't
and
spoil it.
dark, but dude, he gives this one speech in it, and it made me want to just freaking. I wanted to put on some armor and freaking fight for him, dude.
For my king.
And then I went and saw Chaos Walking, as Jordan mentioned. It was enjoyable. There was a lot of potential there. The whole concept is super interesting, and we actually had more fun talking about the movie than we did watching the movie. But I don't know, if you don't have Tom Holland and Daisy Ridley in that movie, it's probably like a 3 or 4. So
Oh wait, I heard about that movie. Is it good?
It's an amazing concept, but they didn't explore as much as
Right.
you'd like them to.
Right.
yeah, they give you
Yeah,
like
like-
nuggets of information that you're like, I could watch like a TV series about this, and then they just don't
Right.
follow up on it.
That's too bad because I didn't hear any advertising or marketing about this movie, but I did see it somewhere in my YouTube feed where they're like talked about the movie, and I was like, it looks interesting enough. But then I was like,
Yeah, concept's great.
yeah, but that, to me, I'm like, I hope more original movies get made. But like, isn't it? It's not Doug Liman, is it? From Jason Bourne?
Mad Nicholson.
Oh, well, yeah, I know the actor. Yeah, Mad Mickelson, Tom Holland, and I don't know how else to call her except Daisy Ridley. She's like whatever her name is.
That is her name. Daisy Ridley's the actress's name.
Oh, I thought that was Ray.
No, yeah.
So I thought Daisy was Ray. That's so funny that I thought that was Ray. Yeah, Daisy Ridley.
Yeah.
I do know her name.
I don't know how else to call her besides her real name.
I don't know how to call it. Yeah, I don't know. Wench? Was it Wench?
And then
Who's that wench from that movie?
and then I also watched
Oh my gosh.
Love and Other Drugs with Jake.
you actually watched that one?
Yeah, I definitely recommend it edited.
Which one?
Love
Which
and
one?
Other Drugs. It's starring Anne Hathaway and Jake Gyllenhaal.
Oh, of course, Jake Gyllenhaal. I was gonna say it's like Cameron's not through with Jake Gyllenhaal. until he
never.
sees Brokeback
Well, I
Mountain,
thought you
dude.
said you were taking a break from him, so you.
I
came back,
was, but he's amazing.
Is that one good? I didn't think that
Um,
was good.
It was an
I don't remember seeing it.
amazing, really great message at the end. Holy cow! But kind of a lot of fluff you have to get
not all
through to
about
get
sex
to the
and drugs,
message.
eh?
Yeah, it's in the last 2 seconds. Oh yeah, don't do
Unless
that
he
stuff.
says,
It's
hey,
actually
it's not
about
all
love.
about the sex and drugs, man.
Yeah, it's just kind of a cool concept because Anne Hathaway is like dying, and so she has the reason she like just has like one night stands with people is because she doesn't believe anyone would ever want to like love her and like help her because she has what do you call it, Parkinson's, and so she
AIDS. Oh,
she doesn't believe anyone would
says one
ever
night
love her
stands.
and
If
be
I'm
there.
gonna die from it, you are too.
And then
Full blown AIDS.
And then I watched a couple episodes of Tiger King. Holy fudge. I
Oh
had
my
zero desire to
gosh.
watch it, but it's freaking pretty crazy, dude. The
Cameron,
scary.
you just said that you're uncomfortable with redneck living. That's
Yeah,
as redneck
that is
Yeah.
living
literally
as you
what
can
that is.
get.
Oh, no,
that
dude,
is the
the cra-
epitome.
that's the cra-
Who the fetch even knew that people own tigers? I didn't even.
That's
know
the
that. I
craziest
was
thing
like,
about this is that it's true. Like the fact
Yeah.
that it's a true story makes me worried about our society.
Oh, you know, I'm like those people vote.
Yeah.
Like what the fudge? There are more tigers bred in captivity than there are in the fetching wild. Now, I'm not surprised by that statistic. To be fair. Because if you think about it, that actually makes sense. Like predators need like to eat a lot of animals. So you need to have that population really low. Like right, like that's why there's not an overpopulation of wolves because their limited scarcity depends on the animals that they feed on. Right. So anyway,
Yeah.
I'm just throwing that out there because
Yeah.
you know how much they fetching eat.
Yeah.
They're feeding them fetching bologna. Like, are you kidding me?
Yeah,
Like
and those
then
things
they
are
go
like
in there to
9
pet
feet
the
tall
thing, and
when
then
they
the thing
stand up.
just rakes him across the floor with their claws, and you're like, no shiz, you got your arm torn off. You're talking to a fetching tiger.
Yeah. And then
Gosh, people are so stupid.
oh, Carol Baskin definitely killed her husband. I'll take that to the bank.
Oh yeah, she.
Carol Baskin?
She's a wicked woman.
Yeah, and
A
then
hypocrite.
I don't know if she killed her husband.
100% killed him, or at least was involved in the conspiracy of his murder.
Yeah. It knows where he is. Yeah.
Yeah, and then yeah, like Jordan mentioned, watch Godzilla Kong. Three scenes you just need
At
to
the
watch.
very end, Grant Cameron's like, I should have taken a nap.
Yeah, because I was gonna
Should've
take a nap,
taken
and I
a
was like,
nap.
I didn't take a nap for this.
Oh, guys, I've got a recommendation for you. 90 minutes long. I can't wait to my turn. So
Okay,
go.
and then I watched by high request from Jacob. He's been wanting me to watch it forever. I finally watched the miniseries Bodyguard. Holy fudge, that thing is
Good.
dope. It's got
It is.
Rob
It kinda
Stark
harkens
from
back-
Game of Thrones.
And Cameron, I always ask this. Do you watch 24 or not?
No.
Okay, that'll be the last time I will remember that you haven't seen it. But Grant, did you watch 24 or not? No one's seen it, right?
Grant's not
Is it
here.
Just me and Jordan.
Grant had seen
Grant's
it.
not
Grant
there.
watched it though.
Oh, Grant did watch it. See, that's why I always get you two confused. I'm like,
Yeah.
okay, which one? Because if you like Bodyguard, like 24 has a lot of those beats. Jordan, did you watch Bodyguard?
No, not yet.
It's really good. I really liked it, but it has beats of 24 in a way. But it's a really good movie.
I love 24. Is it like Jack Ryan?
Yeah, actually, it is closer to Jack Ryan than it is
I
to 24.
love Jack
Yes.
Ryan.
It's very.
Love
If you like Jack Ryan,
I love
watch
how
Bodyguard.
I love
You'll
how
like
much
it.
they keep you in the dark tide. That's my favorite part about the whole
Oh,
show.
well, and one thing, you know what I noticed at the end of the movie? I was trying to behave, quote unquote, like a bodyguard. Like I was watching characters, like extras in the movie. I'm like, oh, who? Like if I was in a crowd, I'm like, who are these people? Would I be like, hey, step back?
Yeah.
like it got me behaving that way. Where you'd see people in the background, you'd be like, what are they? Up
And
to?
holy
What
fudge,
what are they doing?
Rob Stark's
good.
freaking like wife in this movie is a babe. Holy freak, dude.
When you said behave like the character, I after playing Grand Theft Auto, I kept thinking about that too. I'm like, oh, I should just jump in this guy's car and jack it.
Take the car, man. Just take the car.
Or when I see police cars, I just want to like smash into them. I should. I had to stop playing that game.
I had to take a break. I love it, dude.
And then I'm just looking forward to. I want to rewatch 12 Angry Men, and then I want to watch Easy A, and also Fun with Dick and Jane, because I had Fun and Dick with Dick and
Let
Jane.
me know if those
rated.
movies are funny, because I always try to watch them thinking they're going to be funny. Not that one. Easy A. I don't know what it is about that movie.
I like
don't
it.
find it funny. I like the concept in the fact that like it's nice to have a new Scarlet Letter, like updated, modern day. But again, for some reason it fails to get me on a really. It doesn't hit my funny bone at all. Like the only scene I laughed at was the Blue Devil mascot when he runs out there and he's like, I don't even remember what he does. Maybe he was like a beaver and then he like turns into the Blue Devil or something like that. I don't remember. Something about the mascot made me laugh, but that's it. I can't even remember anything about the movie. It's too bad.
I watched Chaos Walking. Really liked it. I like the concept more than
the movie.
Yeah. I mean, like Cameron Grant said, it's so much fun to talk about because there's just a lot of.
Kind of like In Time, right? You're like, oh, that's a really
I don't know.
clever
I actually
idea.
loved In
In
Time.
Time is actually pretty good. Justin Timberlake did a great job.
I love
He does.
Dylan
He
Murphy.
does a good job in Social Network too. Underrated actor.
I'm
actually.
not saying he's not a good actor.
It's okay. I'm going
but
to do it on the pod eventually, so you'll have plenty
In
to talk
Time?
about. Yes.
Oh my gosh. I'd rather watch that one movie, Gattaca or whatever.
Project Almanac.
Yeah, I would love to talk about Project Almanac with you, Cameron.
Then I just still watching Trailer Park Boys. Love it. I think that's about it. Me and Grant watched a bunch of episodes of South Park, and Grant and I were laughing so hard. Grant was in tears. The part where the two,
Asian and Chinese?
the Chinese guy and the Asian guy come over and they're fighting, and he's like, let's work out a Tweety, and he's like, I do not understand your accent. What are you saying? And he's like, a Tweety, and he's like, oh, you mean a Tweety? What?
Yeah, the Japanese and Chinese. Yeah. Oh my gosh.
They're trying to say
So
treaty,
funny.
but really funny, very offensive. But we were laughing our butts off and crying, laughing so hard.
Dude, the final frontier of comedy, dude. It's South Park. Can't be all on their shoulders. We have to stand up and tell offensive humor. It's funny because it's wrong.
Dude, that's what Bill Burr's for.
Yeah, Bill Burr. Yeah, the last vestiges of
Punching
good
upward.
comedy.
Yeah. I mean, even Cohen, Sacha Baron Cohen, man, he's punching downward because he's too afraid he's going to get canceled. So it's too bad.
Well, and they have so much to lose. I get it.
Oh, yeah.
If I, that's like, I have nothing to lose. Come at me, bro.
Or they can go over and make conservative movies with, what's her name? The wrestler from
Gina Carano.
Mandalorian.
I think John
could
Boyega
probably
he
kick
must
my
be
butt.
like sort of conservative because he hates Disney, and they kind of hate
Well,
him.
he's not conservative. He was just thinks Disney is racist, which they probably are. If you look at what happened to their poster of the Force Awakens, the only difference was that John Boyega was shrunk down to sell the movie in China because China, I guess, don't like black people stereotypically, but actually, so like Disney knew this in marketing, so they on the poster where Finn is like a huge part of the poster in America. they shrunk him down like miniature on the poster, so he's like hardly visible. And you're like, oh, the black guy not in the movie very much. Oh yeah. It's like, jeez, like. My goodness,
dude! China owns Disney now. It's ridiculous. Like they have
the NBA is owned by Disney, man.
Well, no, but I'm saying like they
with
all their Avengers movies, they make extra cuts.
Oh yeah. Anything that they don't like, they'll censor out of their.
Well,
movies.
not just censor, but they have they bring in like actors from China and they act in the movie, and they have whole other scenes.
Oh really?
Yeah.
That's hilarious. So like they'll have like scenes that weren't even in the American film that like it's just like garbage at this point, but it's like pandering.
It'd probably be something about communism, you know, like oh yes, good, this is good.
There's a scene where it's like China is the government that comes in and saves the day. It's not America.
It's not just Captain America. They come in at the last minute.
It's not Captain America. It's Captain China.
Captain Communism.
Captain Communism. Oh my gosh.
All right, what have you been watching, Ty?
Oh my gosh, guys. Okay, I'm going to start off with the first movie that you guys need to pay attention to. It's called Blow the Man Down. Oh my gosh. Watch this movie. Please watch this movie. It's a tight 90 minutes. After 16 minutes, you guys will not be able to stop. 16 minutes. Watch it. And even the beginning, it had a feeling of like, it's like
It looks like Fargo, I was about to say.
It is a lot like Fargo. Please watch it, guys. It's a great movie. Highly recommend
I feel like
Blow
I've
the Man
heard of
Down.
it. Thanks for.
I recommended it once earlier a few weeks back, but I figured you guys hadn't watched it yet. I just wanted to tell you guys about it. It's a
You do these
thriller,
recommendations
drama.
too subtle.
I know, because again, I'm very reserved. I don't want to freak you guys out or be like, oh, it wasn't as good as you said it was. Like, I'm like, just
Like
hear me
Wind
out.
River,
You guys-
fetching. Why isn't that to your list?
If you guys don't watch Blow the Man Down, when we get together in South Carolina, we're going to stay up and watch it. I'm just letting you know. So you either can watch it before we meet.
Oh, it's got Elizabeth Olsen. Heck yeah, that's what I'm talking about.
Yeah, Cameron, watch the movie, dude. I'm just saying, push it. It's 90 minutes. It's just like watching Nobody. You're not going to be able to stop watching. It's
Why
stellar.
does Wind River look exactly like what's called Wolf of Snow Hollow?
Well, it's funny that you mentioned Wolf of Snow Hollow. This movie, Blow the Man Down, reminds me of Wolf of Snow Hollow too. It's all three of those movies. It's Fargo, Wolf of Snow. But again, I'll get into all that. I won't spoil anything about it, but definitely give it a shot. And Oh Brother, Where Art Thou? And you'll understand very quickly when you watch it. It reminds me of all those movies. Give it a try. Blow the Man Down. It's on Amazon Prime. And then obviously we watched Donnie Darko. We reviewed on the podcast, Journey to the West. And then I watched Signs again. That movie holds up.
Yes, it
That's a great
does.
movie.
That's on my watch
Fetching
list, Ty.
loved
I
Signs.
rewatched
Watched
it,
again?
Ty. It is so good. And that scene
I love
with Mel
Signs.
Gibson talk to his kids gets me in tears every time.
Yeah, it is a very emotionally driven scene where they're enjoying their final meal. It's literally the Last Supper. I mean,
Yes!
Michael,
And then he
Shyamalan,
grabs them
dude.
all and he's like crying and he's like pulling them close to him.
Yeah, and like you want to talk about suspense? They did such a good job at building this world
Dude,
of suspense.
what happened to M. Night, dude? He was a master. Like, I don't
And
know.
even people that give it crap years later, where they're like, "Oh, these high-tech aliens didn't know about this planet and water." I'm like, to me, I think that's left to suspense. Like everyone loves to shiz on it now because I think they're kind of having a revisionist history where they're like, "Oh, M. Night Shyamalan was never that good." Like, I'll be honest.
Well, that's
Signs
kind of funny because you kind of bash World War Z. You're like, oh, it's the germs that got him.
Wait, what? Well, yeah, World War Z is
not
just a
World War
dumpster
Z.
fire.
Sorry. What's the one with Tom Hanks? Tom Cruise. The aliens die by the germs.
Oh, War of the Worlds.
Oh,
War of the Worlds.
Well, it's just so anticlimactic. Like the aliens.
How is that any different than this one?
Well, okay. Remember when we talked about Nobody? Like in this movie, where you have no, not Nobody. How we talked about Journey to the West, where you have this amazing opener. You had like Tom Cruise running, which is so exciting.
that's true.
Through the streets and through evaporated people. Like that was so pulse-poundingly intense. At the very end, it's a feeble alien reaches his hand out and it goes limp. It goes limp. It dies. It's so lame.
But that's no different than them hitting water at the alien and him dying. Like,
No, see, that's the thing though. But you still have the hand-to-hand combat, and again, it's all callbacks. It's like swing away,
Yeah.
his wife having a vision, and it was like, was that just a random thing that she said? No, it was like premonition. Of,
and talk about
whatever.
the scene
Man
that
of
gets
faith,
me
right?
every time was when he's in the closet watching and the kids are screaming in that video.
That scene is so terrifying.
Every time I get
So
chills up
terrifying.
my spine. Every time.
Oh my gosh, Joaquin Phoenix, man! If you thought he was a good actor, I just want to. You know how people watch like YouTube reaction videos? Like Joaquin Phoenix is probably the only person alive that I would watch reaction videos to trailer movies. If he reacted like that every time, dude, just like falls over to see it, and he's in the freaking. I love when he's yelling at the Spanish kids, "Vámonos, chiquillos, váyanse!" Out of the way. I love it, dude. Signs holds up. That is an amazing movie. And again, I want to defend it just briefly where they're like, oh, the aliens came here and they didn't know about the water. Here's the thing. Maybe they did know about the water, but they were so desperate this was the only planet that they could colonize or whatever, right? Maybe they were here to enslave humans. Maybe they were here to whatever reason. Maybe they did want to harvest the water, but it was, deadly to them. Who cares? I just hate when people are like, oh, like, it's stupid. And I'm like, no, it's not that stupid.
It was M. Night Shyamalan that made us want to start a podcast. It was split. Like, we're huge M. Night fans. I think we should definitely do like a month.
That and Servant. The Servant is a pretty good show. But unfortunately, you have to be a subscriber to Apple whatever TV now to see it. You have to pay for it. I'm like, no! First season of Servant was free, but now you have to pay. How dare they? Maybe I'll just fork up enough money. Or wait till the whole series is out, get a free service for a week, and then watch the whole thing and cancel it. Okay, I watched another movie called Them! ! It's about giant ants, and it has 3 Wilhelm screams. So good. This movie was amazing, guys. Watch it. Black and white. This movie holds up.
Should we do it on a bad movie night? Is it worth it?
Yeah. But it's not a bad movie. It's really good, guys.
Oh, really?
Them is really good. I watched it. I was like, holy shit, this is a great movie. I was captivated. It's from the 60s or maybe 40s. I don't even remember when. And all the ants, practical effects, giant, moving, fuzzy, puppeteered ants. It's amazing. Watch the movie Them. It's great. Another tight 90 minutes. And then obviously watch Nobody. And then I think I'm probably done watching Workaholics. It's kind of died down. But guys, watch those first few episodes together. It is so funny. Watch the first season. Funniest stuff on TV. So that's it for me. But guys, blow the man down in the movie Them. Giant killer ants or Blow the Man Down. Fargo meets Wolf of Snow Hollow meets...
I'll watch Wind River with you tonight.
No, you're watching Wind River? Don't watch Wind River. Watch Blow the Man Down.
No, Wind River.
Cameron, watch Blow the Man Down. You'll like it better.
We're watching Wind River, and I'm going to watch ETA.
ETA, what's that one?
Easy.
Oh, Easy.
Yeah.
No, watch Blow the Man Down. And if you guys don't, I'm just going to make you watch it when we get together, so it's up to you.
Okay,
I don't care.
wrap it up.
Peace and blessings, bro. Thanks, everybody, for tuning in. Leave us a review.
Check us out on Spotify.
5 stars. Check us out on Spotify, all the other social media platforms. And please don't forget to leave us an email, futuremovies@gmail.com.
Oh, we got
Tell
our
us what
first
movie
movie
you'd like us to
recommendation.
We have our first movie recommendation. Who was it? Shout out to our fan. She recommended a movie, and we'll be reviewing it.
It was definitely on our list, but it was just like, we're going to do it.
It is on our list, which is cool that our fan actually wanted this movie because I was like, we'll definitely be discussing it.
It's
After Memories of Murder episode, someone listened to it and recommended.
Yeah, her YouTube username is Lindy May.
Linda May, thank you for your recommendation. And it was I Saw the Devil. And
which is
we
an
will definitely be reviewing
amazing South Korean film.
It's an amazing movie. We've already seen it, and we totally started this podcast because of movies
one of the
like
best
I Saw the
revenge
Devil.
movies of all time. Probably the only one that beats it is Count of Monte Cristo.
And Kill Bill. So, for sure. For sure. Let's end this podcast, everybody. This is Future Hidden Movie Gems signing out. Peace.
Peace.
I am nobody.